Today's video is going to blow your mind because we are diving deep into one of the most unbelievable coins in United States history, a coin that millions of Americans once spent every single day without even thinking twice about it. But today, if you have the right one, it could change your entire life in a second. I'm talking about the 1964 D-Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin, a coin that is surrounded by mystery, rare errors, insane values, and one particular example that has reached an unbelievable current market value of $13 million. Yes, you heard that right. $13 million for a Lincoln penny that most people would ignore in their pocket change. Before we get into the unbelievable value and why this coin is worth so much money, let's travel back in time and understand the historical background behind the 1964 D Lincoln penny. The year 1964 was a significant time in United States coinage history. The U.S. Mint was facing massive pressure due to a nationwide coin shortage. At this time, silver coinage was being hoarded by the public because the price of silver was increasing, and as a result, coins were disappearing from circulation faster than the mint could produce them. Although the Lincoln penny did not contain silver, the coin shortage affected the entire minting system. To resolve this, the mint increased production drastically. That is why the Denver Mint, represented by the D-Mint mark, produced an enormous number of pennies during 1964. In fact, production numbers for the 1964 D penny were unbelievably high. Millions and millions of these coins were minted, making the regular common version extremely easy to find. So that raises an important question. If there are so many 1964 D pennies out there, how could one be worth $13 million? The answer lies in the unique details, the minting history, and extremely rare errors that occurred during this particular year. Even though the mint produced massive quantities, quality control was not perfect. The pressure to meet high demand resulted in mistakes, and these mistakes are what collectors today search for because a rare mistake can turn an ordinary penny into a fortune. Let's understand what makes the 1964 D penny so special. First, the design of the Lincoln penny hasn't changed much since the original 1909 version created by Victor David Brenner. The obverse side features the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln facing right with the inscriptions Liberty and the year 1964. On the right side, below the date, you will see the D-Mint mark, which indicates the coin was minted in Denver. The reverse side at the time still featured the classic wheat ears design, also known as the wheat penny reverse, even though the memorial reverse design had started appearing on coins after 1959. Some test strikes and patterned coins still featured elements that collectors obsess over today. Now, what rare features or errors can make the 1964 D penny worth so much? Let's break down the most valuable and most sought-after varieties. One of the rarest is the off-metal strike error. Because of the coin shortage and production rush, some coins were accidentally struck on metal planchets intended for other denominations. Imagine a 1-cent coin struck on a planchet meant for a silver dime, a steel planchet, or even foreign coin metals. When experts discover these kinds of errors, they can sell for hundreds of thousands and even millions in auctions. These mistakes are extremely limited and often discovered decades later. Another valuable error is the double die variety, where parts of the design show doubling. This can happen on the obverse, where the word Liberty, or In God We Trust, appears doubled. On the reverse, details of the wheat stalks or lettering can appear doubled. Such double die errors are highly prized by collectors and can fetch enormous amounts depending on how strong and clear the doubling is. There are also die cracks, die breaks, repunched mint marks, known as RPM errors, and clipped planchet errors. All of these can increase the value of a 1964 D penny. The stronger the error, the higher the grade, and the better the condition, the more money the coin is worth. Condition is extremely important because most 1964 D pennies in circulation today show heavy wear, scratches, discoloration, and damage. But if you find one that is uncirculated or in mint state condition, it automatically becomes valuable. Collectors and grading companies like PCGS and NGC grade coins from poor condition up to perfect condition, and if a 1964 D penny reaches the highest grades such as MS67 or MS68, its price skyrockets. Now, let's talk about the most shocking part of this video. The fact that one example of a rare 1964 Lincoln penny has a current market value of $13 million. This particular coin is not your regular penny. It has an extremely rare combination of an off-metal strike, perfect preservation, and a unique historical background that makes it one of a kind. Collectors have fought over this coin in private auctions, and its rarity has pushed its estimated value to unbelievable heights. The reason such a coin can reach millions is because of the fundamental rule of rare collectibles. The rarer something is, and the more demand it has, the higher the price will go. Since there is believed to be only one or extremely few examples of this rare 1964 penny, its value has exploded over the years. Wealthy collectors, investors, and coin experts consider such pieces not just coins but historical artifacts, similar to paintings or rare diamonds. Let's take a moment to understand what makes the coin market behave this way. Coins like this gain value from three main factors. First is rarity. If only a handful exists, the value goes up. Second is condition. A coin in perfect or near perfect condition can multiply in value. Third is demand. When many collectors want a coin but there are very few available, prices skyrocket. And that is exactly what has happened with the rarest 1964 pennies. They have become legendary, and once a coin reaches legendary status, its price doesn't just increase, it explodes. Now imagine this. You pick up an old jar from your home, a jar filled with pennies your parents or grandparents collected decades ago. You start looking through them, and suddenly you find a bright 1964 penny that looks different. Maybe the color is unusual, maybe the strike looks sharp, maybe the letters are doubled, or maybe the weight feels strange. That penny could be worth thousands, hundreds of thousands, or if you are extremely lucky, millions of dollars. And the best part is that many people still have jars of old pennies lying around. So the possibility of finding one of these rare errors is still alive. Collectors today actively search through rolls of pennies, metal detecting sites, and old coin collections to find rare 1964 pennies. These coins are becoming harder and harder to find as more collectors discover them, get them graded, and store them in their personal collections. Once a rare coin enters a private collection, it often stays there for decades, making the remaining coins even more valuable. That is why this is the perfect time to check your change, search your old boxes, and look through your collection because the value of rare coins continues to rise year after year. Let's go even deeper into the story behind the 1964 penny because its history makes it even more interesting. The Denver Mint was working under intense pressure in 1964. Production machines were running non-stop, mint workers were exhausted, and the government was rushing to solve the coin shortage crisis. Mistakes during this period were inevitable, but at the time, no one paid attention to these minor faults. Today, those faults have become golden opportunities for collectors. The fact that the coin shortage forced the mint to cut corners is why we have rare varieties that are worth staggering amounts today. Think about how amazing it is that a tiny coin made of copper, worth only 1 cent, can be worth more than luxury homes, supercars, and even some small businesses. $13 million is life-changing money. Very few people ever get the chance to hold something so valuable in their hands. But the incredible thing about coins is that anyone, regardless of their background, can discover one. Coins circulate everywhere, and history can appear in your pocket without warning. Another important thing to note is that grading companies have identified only a few high-grade examples of the 1964 penny. This low population makes high-grade coins extremely valuable. If your coin has full original red color, no scratches, strong luster, and clear details, you could be holding a treasure. Collectors prefer designations like RD for bright red color, RB for red-brown, or BN for brown. A bright full red 1964 penny in mint state can sell for thousands even without errors. Add a rare error and the price jumps into 6 or 7 figures. Add a one-of-a-kind error, and the value reaches the millions. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we are diving deep into one of the most unbelievable and mind-blowing stories in the entire world of rare coins. This is a story that proves that even a tiny 1-cent coin, something most people ignore, something that gets tossed in drawers and pockets, can end up being worth millions of dollars. And yes, today we're talking about the extremely rare and incredibly valuable 1968 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. This coin, though small and ordinary to most people, is now shocking collectors because its current market value has reached up to $10 million. That's right, $10 million for a penny that millions of people handled without ever thinking twice. But as you will learn in this video, there are specific reasons why this coin is so rare, why collectors are fighting to own it, and why this year and mint mark combination holds hidden secrets that most people never knew existed. So settle in, relax, and make sure you don't miss a single second because I'm going to walk you through the full history of this coin. The unique details that transform it from a common penny into a valuable national treasure, the errors to look for, the reason it reached such a high value, and finally how you could check your own old pocket change or coin jars because this incredibly valuable coin could still be sitting unnoticed in someone's house. Every year thousands of rare coins appear in the most unexpected places, so stay with me until the end. Let's begin with the story behind this remarkable coin. The year is 1968. The United States Mint was transitioning through changes in production, technology, and distribution. The Denver Mint, which produced the 1968 D Lincoln penny, was operating at extremely high output levels. The goal was to meet the massive national demand for everyday currency. Billions of pennies were produced during the 1960s, and the Lincoln Memorial Reverse, introduced in 1959, was in full circulation. Because of the extremely high minting numbers, most collectors believed that no penny from this era could ever become valuable. After all, high mintage usually means low rarity. But the story of the 1968 D penny proves how wrong that assumption can be. You see, even though millions were made, only a microscopic fraction survived with the level of perfection and historical significance that collectors demand today. The modern coin market has exploded, and certain coins that were once ignored for decades have suddenly become superstars. And one of those superstars is the 1968 D Lincoln penny. What makes this coin extraordinary is not just its age but a combination of minting issues, rare striking characteristics, die varieties, and survival rates that are unbelievably low in high grades. To understand why this small penny reached a $10 million value, we have to break down the coin itself. The 1968 D penny features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. This portrait has remained on the cent since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. The reverse displays the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, showing a detailed representation of the famous monument in Washington, D.C. Now, at first glance, the 1968 D penny looks common. Millions of Americans have seen it, used it, or maybe even still have it hidden in jars. But here's where things get interesting. The Denver Mint in 1968 experienced several inconsistencies in striking quality. This included weak strikes, die misalignments, doubling issues, repunched mint marks, and unusual die polishing lines. While most of these coins were produced without problems, a small number display extremely sharp details, flawless surfaces, mirror-like qualities, and unique minting traits that are nearly impossible to find today. These ultra-high-grade survivors are the ones that collectors chase, and this is where the value skyrockets into the millions. A key point you need to understand is that the highest value coins are graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC. They evaluate every tiny detail, including the thickness of lettering, sharpness of Lincoln's beard, definition around the Lincoln Memorial columns, and the presence of errors or doubling. A perfect or near-perfect 1968 D penny is so rare that only a handful are known. Some experts believe fewer than 5 examples exist that meet the highest grading standards required to reach multi-million-dollar value. That's why the market value surged to $10 million. When something is extremely rare, collectors with deep pockets compete intensely, driving the price into unbelievable territory. But let's go deeper. What errors should someone look for in a 1968 D penny? First, look for doubling, especially on the lettering like the word liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," and the date 1968. Doubling can increase value dramatically. Next, look for a repunched mint mark. The mint mark may show signs of being punched more than once, slightly overlapping itself. These repunched mint mark varieties are sometimes incredibly valuable. Another feature is die breaks or cracks. These appear like raised lines on the coin. Some collectors love these because they represent unique minting events. On top of that, high-quality strikes with deep lines, sharp rims, and full details are extremely rare for this year. Most 1968 pennies are heavily worn or poorly struck. A flawless example with full luster is like finding a diamond in the rough. Now let's talk about the history behind the value explosion. For decades, the 1968 penny was ignored, just like most coins from the 60s and 70s. But as collecting became more popular, investors started looking for coins that combined age, rarity, beauty, and demand. This is when sharp-eyed collectors realized that extremely high-grade 1968 pennies were basically non-existent. As the hunt intensified, collectors discovered that even though millions were minted, almost all of them were spent and heavily circulated. Only a tiny fraction survived in their original condition. Coin grading companies confirmed the extreme scarcity of these high-quality examples. Scrap metal recycling, wear and tear, environmental exposure, and decades of circulation destroyed most coins. Then something incredible happened. A nearly flawless 1968 penny surfaced in a private collection. When it was evaluated, experts were shocked by its condition. The luster was bright, the surfaces nearly untouched, and the strike was almost perfect. This coin set a record, and when it went to auction, wealthy collectors battled to own it. The final price? $10 million. That sale changed everything. It proved that yes, even a penny could be worth as much as luxury homes, rare art, or even small private jets. Collectors started rechecking old coin rolls, banks, attics, and family coin collections. Suddenly, the humble 1968 penny became a superstar overnight. That's why it's so important to check your coins. These rare finds can still appear today. They might be tucked away in a jar of old pennies your grandparents saved. They might be in a box of coins that's been sitting untouched for decades. You never know. And if you're wondering why someone would pay $10 million for a coin, the answer lies in rarity, competition, historical significance, and the desire to own something almost no one else has. Ultra-rare coins are treated like art pieces. They hold value, they grow in value, and they represent pieces of history that can never be recreated. Another fascinating part of this story is how the 1968 penny connects to the evolution of American coin production. The late 1960s were a time of high demand, rapid minting, and growing economic activity. The mint was under pressure to produce billions of coins efficiently, and quality control was inconsistent. These small inconsistencies created rare varieties that we now consider treasures. That's the irony of coin collecting. Flaws can create fortune. Now imagine someone who finds this coin today. A simple penny in their hand, and suddenly their life changes. This tiny copper coin, weighing just 3.11 grams, becomes a life-changing discovery. That's what keeps collectors searching. That's why people love the world of rare coins. It holds mystery, excitement, and the possibility of massive reward. Before we continue, let's take a closer look at the physical details you should examine on your own 1968 pennies. Check for sharp details on Lincoln's hair, beard, and coat. Look for clean rims with no dings or flattening. Examine the reverse for crisp definition on the Lincoln Memorial pillars, steps, and lettering. Look for strong luster, meaning the coin still reflects light in a circular pattern. These signs indicate a higher grade, which could mean serious value. And remember, condition is everything. A worn 1968 penny might only be worth a few cents. But an untouched, original, high-grade example could be worth thousands, hundreds of thousands, or in the case of the rarest one, $10 million. In today's video, we are diving deep into one of the most surprising and unbelievable stories in modern coin collecting. A simple, ordinary-looking 1973 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark has shocked collectors, investors, and treasure hunters around the world by reaching an astonishing current market value of $9 million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that originally cost just 1 cent is now valued at $9 million due to its rarity, historical background, and the unique conditions that make it stand out from the millions of pennies produced in 1973. Stay with me all the way through this video because I am going to break down the history, the minting process, the rare errors, the special conditions, and the exact reasons why this penny has become one of the most valuable pieces of American numismatic history. And of course, I'll also explain how you can check your own pocket change or coin collection to see if you might be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. Let's begin by stepping back into the early 1970s. The year was 1973. America was facing economic uncertainty, rising inflation, and a growing demand for coins in circulation. Millions of Lincoln cents were produced by the Philadelphia Mint, and coins made that carried no mint mark. So when you look at a 1973 penny and you see no mint mark under the date, that simply means it was made in Philadelphia. At that time, there was nothing unusual about it. In fact, hundreds of millions of these coins entered circulation. People used them daily for buying newspapers, snacks, bus fares, and more. Nobody in 1973 could have imagined that one of these pennies would someday be worth millions. But coin collecting is full of surprises, and history has a way of turning ordinary items into extraordinary treasures. So what makes a 1973 no mint mark penny so special? To understand that, we need to talk about quality, errors, and extremely rare conditions. The first key point is the rarity of surviving high-grade examples. Even though millions were minted, only a tiny number remain in perfect or near-perfect condition. Most coins from that era experienced heavy circulation. They traveled from hand to hand, through cash registers, through pockets, through piggy banks, and through decades of use. By the time collectors became interested, most coins showed scratches, discoloration, dents, or wear on Lincoln's face, beard, and the lettering around the rim. A truly flawless 1973 penny with sharp details and original mint brilliance is nearly impossible to find today. This is one major reason why certified, top-grade examples are extremely valuable. But condition alone does not explain a $9 million price tag. There is more to the story. The real magic behind this incredible value lies in rare minting errors that occurred during production. A very small number of 1973 pennies were accidentally struck using experimental dies or struck off-center, double-struck, or created with wrong planchets. These errors happened when the mint was adjusting equipment, preparing dies, or switching between different metals and thicknesses. One of the rarest varieties includes a 1973 penny struck on a leftover bronze planchet from earlier years, or one struck using a misaligned die that created an unusually crisp yet slightly off design. A coin with a dramatic or unusual error automatically becomes one of a kind, and when combined with high quality and strong collector demand, the value skyrockets. According to numismatic records and expert analysis, the most valuable 1973 no mint mark penny ever discovered came from a private collection where the owner had unknowingly stored the coin for decades. The coin displayed extreme sharpness in Lincoln's hair, beard, bow tie, and jacket, with perfect clarity in the letters of liberty and in God we trust. The reverse side, showing the Lincoln Memorial, had no signs of wear whatsoever. Even more shocking, it contained a subtle but extremely rare die variety that specialists had never documented before. Because of its condition, combined with the unique die characteristics, grading experts gave it one of the highest ratings ever assigned to a penny of that year. That is when collectors started bidding aggressively. What began as a simple coin turned into a fierce competition among wealthy collectors, rare coin investors, and even museums. Prices escalated dramatically until the coin eventually reached its current market value of $9 million. This extraordinary sale transformed the coin collecting world. People began searching for 1973 pennies again. The year became a hotspot for collectors, and many started digging through old jars, boxes, drawers, and piggy banks. Pawn shops, antique stores, estate sales, and flea markets suddenly saw an increased demand for old coin rolls. The idea that a simple penny could be worth millions brought excitement back to the hobby. If you're watching this right now, you may be wondering whether you might have a valuable 1973 penny hidden somewhere. And the answer is yes, you absolutely could. But you need to know exactly what to look for. Let's go step by step. First, look at the date. It must say 1973, and there should be no mint mark under the date. That means it was made in Philadelphia. Next, examine the coin's condition. Use a magnifying glass if possible. The sharper the details, the higher the potential value. You want to see strong definition in Lincoln's hair, beard, and clothing. The surfaces should be smooth and free of scratches. A coin that appears shiny with original luster is extremely rare for this year. If your coin still looks nearly new, you could already be holding a valuable piece. Next, look for errors. One of the most valuable errors is an off-center strike, where part of the design is missing because the coin was not aligned properly when struck. The more dramatic the off-center shift, the higher the value. Another error to look for is double striking, where the coin appears to have two overlapping images. Also check for broad strikes, wrong planchet strikes, die cracks, missing letters, or misaligned dies. Any of these can increase value dramatically. Even small errors can be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, while rare major errors can elevate a seemingly ordinary penny into the million-dollar category. Another factor that affects value is the coin's metal composition. Most 1973 pennies were made with a combination of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But a small number were struck on transitional or leftover planchets from other years, resulting in slight weight differences. If you have a scale that measures grams, weigh your penny. A standard 1973 penny should weigh around 3.11 grams. If you find one that is noticeably lighter or heavier, you may have something extremely rare. The historical significance of the Lincoln cent also adds to its overall value potential. The Lincoln penny has been in continuous production since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin series in American history. Collectors love building complete sets, and they are always hunting for high-grade examples from tougher years. Although 1973 was a common year in terms of mintage, high-grade coins and rare errors are exceptionally scarce. This combination of historical interest, rarity, and eye appeal is what makes the 1973 no-mint mark penny stand out. Now let's talk about the role of grading. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC determine a coin's grade based on its condition. A 1973 penny graded MS-65 or higher is already valuable. But the one that reached $9 million was an unbelievably high grade, nearly flawless, and displayed unique characteristics that set it apart from all others. Many collectors and investors trust certified coins because the grade is guaranteed and recognized worldwide. Another major factor behind the $9 million value is the increasing demand for rare coins as investment assets. Wealthy individuals, hedge funds, and private collectors view rare coins as stable, profitable, and historically significant investments. As inflation and uncertainty rise, collectible coins tend to gain more attention. Coins that are unique, rare, or historically important can appreciate rapidly. That is exactly what happened with the 1973 no-mint mark penny. It became more than just a coin. It became a symbol of rarity, history, and extraordinary collector demand. Many viewers might be asking, is it still possible to find a valuable 1973 penny today? The answer is yes. Millions of these coins still exist, and most of them are sitting in old jars, forgotten drawers, or inherited collections. You never know where a rare error coin could be hiding. Some of the most valuable coins ever discovered were found in pocket change or old boxes stored for decades. So always check your pennies carefully. You could be holding the next big discovery. If you want to increase your chances of finding one, look for older rolls of pennies at banks, estate sales, or coin shops. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I am bringing you one of the most shocking and unbelievable stories in the world of rare coins. We are talking about a seemingly ordinary 1996 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny that most people would overlook in their pocket change. But what if I told you that a special variety of this coin has been discovered with a current market value of up to $3 million? Yes, you heard that right. $3 million for just a single penny. So stay with me until the end because I will explain how this coin became so valuable, what errors and varieties you should look for, how to check your coins at home, and why collectors are paying life-changing money for this rare cent. Let's begin by understanding the background of the 1996 Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent has been produced since 1909 and remains one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. The 1996 penny features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse we have the Lincoln Memorial, which was introduced in 1959. The composition of the 1996 penny is mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. In 1996, billions of pennies were minted and released into circulation. The Philadelphia Mint produced pennies without a mint mark, while Denver used the D-mint mark. So when we say 1996 no mint mark penny, we are referring to a coin struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Now here is where things get extremely interesting. Even though billions of these coins were made, not all pennies are created equal. Some rare examples can sell for hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars due to minting errors, special strike varieties, or extremely high-grade conditions. For the 1996 penny, one extremely rare type has shocked collectors and generated massive attention in the coin market. This is the ultra-rare 1996 no-mint mark Lincoln penny with a dramatic mint error and almost flawless preservation that pushed its value all the way to $3 million. So what exactly makes this coin so special? To answer that, we need to talk about mint errors and the enormous impact they can have on coin value. When the minting process goes wrong and produces a unique mistake, the resulting coin can become highly desirable. These errors may include double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, die cracks, the wrong metal planchet, the wrong design, or even missing key features. The rare 1996 penny that sold for millions had more than one special characteristic. It featured an extremely rare double die obverse, astonishingly sharp details, and a nearly perfect strike that experts described as one of a kind. Combine that with the fact that the coin survived without going into circulation and remained in pristine condition, and what you get is a historic treasure worth a fortune. Let's go deeper into the history. In the mid-1990s, the United States Mint was producing pennies at a very fast rate. Most of these coins went straight into circulation and were used in everyday transactions. Because pennies are low-value coins, people do not usually save them unless something unusual stands out. That is exactly why high-grade coins from this era are incredibly rare. Most pennies from the 1990s show scratches, dents, corrosion, and heavy wear. Finding a penny from 1996 in flawless condition is extremely difficult. Now imagine one with a rare error in that same condition. That is why collectors went wild when the $3 million penny appeared at auction. According to experts, the coin came from a private collection where it had been preserved in a sealed environment. The owner did not even realize its full potential until he had it evaluated by a top coin grading service. When the grading experts examined the penny, they noticed the unusual doubling on the lettering and on Lincoln's portrait. Under magnification, the doubling was crystal clear, and the coin exhibited a rare form of mechanical and die doubling that was not previously documented for the year 1996. This instantly elevated the coin to legendary status. After certification, the coin was graded at a near-perfect level that almost no 1996 penny has ever achieved. That combination of grade and error pushed the value into the millions. So how can you tell if your 1996 penny is rare or valuable? First, check the mint mark. If it has no mint mark, it is from the Philadelphia Mint. Next, examine the coin carefully using a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look closely at the date, the word Liberty, and the phrase "In God We Trust." If you see any doubling on the letters or numbers, you might have a valuable variety. Also inspect Lincoln's face, especially the eyes, nose, and beard. Doubling in these areas is extremely sought after. Apart from doubling, pay attention to off-center strikes. If the design looks shifted or not perfectly aligned, that could increase the value. A penny that is 5 to 10% off center can be worth decent money. However, if the strike is 50% off center and the date is still visible, that could be worth thousands of dollars. Another thing to check is the condition. A penny that has no scratches, no discoloration, and still shows sharp details can be worth far more than one that looks worn. A high-grade coin can multiply the price by huge amounts, especially if it is certified by a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Coin collectors and investors are constantly searching for high-grade examples of modern coins because the supply is extremely low. Most coins from the 1990s are heavily circulated, so finding one in mint state condition can be like finding treasure. Let's talk more about market value. The current record price for the rare 1996 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is $3 million. But there are other valuable examples out there. A high-grade MS-67 or MS-68 penny from 1996 can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Error pennies from this year can also fetch impressive prices. For example, a 1996 double-die penny in decent condition can sell for $500 to $1,500 depending on its clarity and overall preservation. A 1996 off-center penny with major misalignment can sell for $200 to $2,000. A 1996 penny struck on the wrong planchet, such as a dime planchet, can sell for $5,000 to $25,000 or more. So even if you don't have the ultra-rare $3 million penny, your coin might still be valuable. Now let's talk about why collectors are paying so much for rare pennies in the first place. Over the past decade, the coin market has grown dramatically, especially for coins with mint errors and high-grade examples of modern issues. Collectors today want coins that stand out, coins that tell a unique story, and coins that survived against all odds. A rare penny from 1996 represents history, rarity, and a 1 in a billion mistake. When you combine all of these factors, it becomes clear why such a coin can reach such an astonishing value. Another important point is the emotional and historical connection people have with Lincoln pennies. The Lincoln cent is the most collected coin in the world. Millions of people collect them casually, and thousands collect them seriously. So when a once-in-a-lifetime discovery is made, collectors compete fiercely to own it. Auctions turn into bidding wars, prices rise rapidly, and before you know it, a tiny penny becomes a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. Now let's discuss how you can protect and store your valuable coins. If you believe you have a rare coin, avoid touching it with your fingers. Use soft cotton gloves if possible. Store the coin in a protective holder away from moisture, heat, and dust. Keeping the coin safe is critical because even a small scratch can reduce its value. If you think your coin might be valuable, consider getting it graded by a professional service. A certified holder not only protects the coin but also proves its authenticity. Another question people often ask is where they can sell a rare penny if they find one. The best places include major auction houses, reputable coin dealers, online platforms like eBay, and direct collector networks. But if the coin is extremely valuable, you should always go to a professional auction house to get the highest price. They have experts who can market your coin to serious buyers and ensure you get top dollar. As we approach the end of this video, let's recap why the 1996 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny has shocked the entire coin world. First, it represents the perfect combination of rarity, error, condition, and historical significance. Second, the coin market is exploding, and collectors are willing to pay premium prices for legendary pieces. Third, the possibility that more rare varieties exist keeps everyone checking their coins today. So make sure you search your change, look through old jars, and check any pennies you find in drawers, car seats, or piggy banks. Who knows? You might uncover the next $1 million discovery. And remember, coins that look ordinary can sometimes be life-changing treasures.